How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to your Morning Cup. The cases of the new variant of the coronavirus are prevalent across the globe, and today we realize the fact that this so-called new strain of the COVID virus that was first only isolated and found in the United Kingdom is now prevalent worldwide. Canada reporting several cases along with Japan, joining the works of other European nations that have come out to say that this virus has officially spread out of the United Kingdom as now is making its way through the world again. Will this make a new wave of certain COVID viruses that we might have not experienced before? Well, it's too early to say right now. Facts say that the new strain of this virus isn't very different than the existing one, yet the genetic makeup of this new virus is different. A quick update about yesterday's news about the Nashville bombings. Now it turns out that it was a suicide which had ginormous repercussions. When it comes to people wanting to take their own lives, it is a very serious case. There could be numerous reasons as to why this person was pushed to the limits that they were pushed in. But trying to kill yourself on a city block with explosives rigged to your camper van that have already done damage to a lot of people's lives on Christmas morning is something that should not have been done. Never is terrorism or acts of terror an answer to anything. It's just sad to see that some people had to spend their Christmas day that way. We come out with a shocking news from the Middle East. 10 mountain climbers have died under severe conditions in the Alborz Mountains in Tehran. And these were certainly experienced climbers, yet they succumbed to the sheer weather and the sheer forces that they came across. The WHO has come out with an official statement stating that this coronavirus pandemic is not going to be the last pandemic. As a matter of fact, the Geneva-based organization went as far as to say that the coronavirus crisis will not be the last pandemic. There are attempts to improve human health and our capabilities to fight these viruses off as soon as we can. But there is apparently a wave brewing about such new viruses that could be the new norm when it comes to global civilizations. You see, these viruses are infamous for spreading like wildfires. All they need is one little ember to do the deed. And upon these viruses being spread on a global scale, the sheer population numbers that we have on this earth, they are just a boon to the amount that this virus can spread. Human nature and socializing is the other thing that affects how fast these viruses can spread even in the future. So we might be looking at some serious change in what is culturally the new norm. We move on to Japan, announcing that no new entries for foreigners are going to be allowed since these new cases of the mutated coronavirus have been found there. Japan has taken a few extra measures to set a few pretenses in place and made sure that people are obeying the laws at all times. What they need right now is people to understand the severity of the issue, and apart from that, understanding that you need to stay indoors in order to stay safe. In this holiday season, people are, more than likely to step outside, even though these warnings are in place. And therefore, Japan has strictly announced that there are guidelines that need to be followed by all shops as well as all amenities that are open across the cities. Japan does not want a new wave of this virus, which makes sense. From another country that dealt with this virus incredibly well, we move to South Korea. South Korea initially was branded as the best country that has dealt with this virus. Unfortunately though, South Korea has recently faced a whole new wave of coronavirus victims. The number of infections that happened on Christmas Day on one single day were 1,241, and another 1,132 cases were reportedly the following day. South Korea's total thereby comes around to around 55,000 cases, which is significantly lesser than the rest of the world, that is a given. But yet a country that had grips on this pandemic now seems to have loosened its grip and thereby facing certain consequences. Over 15,000 people were added in the last 15 days alone. And unfortunately, there have been 221 fatalities over the same period. The latest death toll stretch has increased the death toll number to 793 in total across the country. We still don't know how North Korea is dealing with this pandemic or if it even exists in North Korea. You see, there is a lot that is in the shadows when it comes to the Kingdom of North Korea, and most of North Korea is kept in the shadows intentionally. So, we move on to certain lighter news. Astronauts from the International Space Station beamed down a message wishing everyone on this earth a very Merry Christmas and a safe holiday period. They all understand that it's difficult to stay on the earth right now, and which makes complete sense considering that they are the only people that can step close to each other without masks on. You see, the ISS is the only body apart from the earth where humans exist in this entire universe. And it's nice to see that a body, even though it is completely dependent on the earth, still feels the pain that the rest of the world is feeling. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to an end for today's episode. There's a lot that keeps happening on a global scale, like the Notre Dame fire, and ever since, there was nothing there until Christmas morning, where the choir had to wear hard hats, but yet, they were in there and they were bringing in the Christmas cheer. You see, this is such resilience that we see from our species as a whole that tells us that, yeah, humanity has more going on for it than we can expect. And by no means is this pandemic going to be it for our species. Alright. See you guys tomorrow.